When you want to be important, you buy a Ferrari. When you are important, you buy a Lamborghini. A phrase uttered by Frank Sinatra, a great Lamborghini collector. So who is Frank Sinatra? His full name is Francis Albert Sinatra, an American singer, actor, director, producer. When we quickly enter the shock voice video universe, it's also why we also see that he is one of the first people to take a selfie photo in my video. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, not to discriminate, but more gentlemen for this video, because this is a story of a legend, Lamborghini, one of the iconic names of super sports cars. Now we are going to Italy, the 28th of April, 1916. Known for its eponymous and stylish high-performance cars, the company, its founder Ferruccio Lamborghini, was born here. Who was this man? First, let's address the king by his full name, Ferruccio Elio Arturo Lamborghini. He was born on April 28, 1916 as a child of a farmer family. That is, he is a Taurus. His interest in mechanics starts at an early age, and he decides he wants to do something about it. Then he starts working on his father's tractor. Eventually, he manages to enter a technical school in Bologna. However, since he is a warrior boy, he joined the Italian Air Force during World War II and took part in the transport division. After 1944, he became a prisoner of war in the British military forces and made him work in the engine compartment. In this way, Ferruccio gains first-hand experience in keeping cars on the road, even with a limited supply of parts. Imagine that you are in an atmosphere of war, you are a prisoner of the enemy forces, and you are in charge of the engines. Experience gained in such an atmosphere cannot be gained anywhere else. Returning to his hometown after the war, his old war surplus supplies are sold to local farmers. It is starting to turn it into much-needed tractors for. So Lamborghini starts out with a tractor in a small garage, but the job is really, they are successful and they need to move to a larger location soon. Ferruccio is now starting to modify Fiat's cars alongside this tractor business. He even makes a Fiat Topolino for himself and participates in the 1948 Mille Miglia competition. But unfortunately, the car is scrapped as a result of an accident. By 1949, Ferruccio Lamborghini, it starts to produce tractors from scratch without using any waste. Now it officially establishes its factory named Lamborghini Trattoria and increases production in a short time. Lamborghini tractors are starting to be recognized as the best in Italy, and Ferruccio, he starts to organize tractor races in his hometown to show the superiority of his machines. His tractor business makes him a very wealthy man, and he builds another factory that produces air conditioning and central heating equipment. This additional initiative gives Ferruccio Lamborghini even more money, and soon he becomes one of the richest men in Italy. His passion for fast cars led Ferruccio back then to a Mercedes SL 300, a Jaguar, and is known for owning lots of exotic cars like a Ferrari. But his Ferrari is having clutch issues, and Ferruccio is fine with it. As a person who understands well, he goes to visit Enzo Ferrari to complain about the car's problem and propose a solution. Ferrari does not resonate with Lamborghini at first, so to speak. By the way, the name Ferrari and Lamborghini will show you the car brands themselves in the first place. It may be reminiscent of, but right now, when we say Ferrari or Lamborghini, the creators of these brands, I'm talking about the guys who are and give their names to the brands, so I thought I'd add it as a little reminder. Of course, Ferrari's refusal to negotiate doesn't stop Lamborghini. He realizes that the clutch on the Ferrari he drives is no different than the one he puts on his tractors. So he takes Ferrari to the Cento factory and checks out the parts list for one of the tractor models. Directly installs a Borg and Beck clutch, a British auto parts company owned by First Line Limited in Borg and Beck at that time. Anyway, this is how Lamborghini takes care of the clutch problem. The car really doesn't give a problem in the clutch point anymore. Ferruccio Lamborghini was starting to make a lot of money from his tractor business and other ventures, and things were going well. Now he had established the system in a sustainable way, and there was not much need for him. So he didn't have to stay at the factory for a long time. So he decided it was time to start a new business, and Gran Turismo cars seemed like a good idea. Ferruccio Lamborghini was not known for his cunning, so at the beginning he had a completely new factory built in an industrial area in Sant'Agata only, was dedicated to producing the best GT cars of that time, with highly tuned exotics at the time. He wasn't interested. His vision was a running V12 GT. Unfortunately, things got worse in a series with the tractor factory, Ferruccio, in the 70s, after the deal combined with the economic unrest in Italy. They began to sell majority shares of their companies and started to work in Perugia in the south of Italy. He decided to retire at his estate near the town where he began producing the wine known as Blood of Miura. Ferruccio was married at an early age to Clelia Monti, and in 1947 they had a son named Antonio Lamborghini, whom they called Turin. Unfortunately, Clelia died in childbirth. He was buried in the family cemetery, and later Ferruccio, this time with a man named Anita Borgatti. He remarried with a woman, but this second marriage did not last long. Ferruccio divorced him and married a third time. His son Tonino moved to Japan and opened several designer clothes shops under the Lamborghini name. Ferruccio's large estate, La Fiorita, near Lake Trasimeno, receives $800,000 per year, owned a state-of-the-art wine production facility that produced more than a bottle of wine. On a small estate at Ferruccio's in those days, both the vineyard and golf course were open to visitors, albeit by appointment only. In this private car museum, you can find Ferruccio's favorite Lamborghini model, the Miura. When Chrysler took over Automobili Lamborghini Spa, Ferruccio was still involved in the beginning. They replaced an automobile, the Countach, with a modern Diablo in the early 90s. This would be the last Raging Bull car he would experience. Ferruccio Lamborghini died on February 20th, 1993 in Perugia, Italy, just 2 months before his 77th birthday. A few years later, Tonino Lamborghini was to pay homage to his father in Imola. By contacting the architect Diversi, SIG, he turned everything that Ferruccio Lamborghini had accomplished in his life into a museum. The museum was built on Lamborghini Calis estate in Dosso di Ferrara and was officially opened on the 13th of May, 1995. This project was called Centro Polifunzionale Ferruccio Lamborghini, and it gained immense popularity the moment it opened its doors to the public. All visits were by appointment only, but still more than 4,000 in 1997. Visitors came to visit this magnificent museum. Today, Ferruccio Lamborghini's numerous tractors and in Sant'Agata have ever been made. Major industrial vehicles, including some of the most stunning cars. His extensive collection of achievements is on display at the even larger Ferruccio Lamborghini Museum in Funo di Argelato. Now back to the beginning of the story. Ferruccio actually respects Ferrari. He was someone who liked it and owned a Ferrari himself. But when Enzo told Ferrari about the clutch problem and offered some suggestions, when he was found, he said that Enzo Ferrari snapped him and said, "You're just a stupid tractor manufacturer. How do you know anything about sports cars?" Or it is said that he is a farmer, emphasizing the phrase, "Go back to your farm." These may be true, perhaps a myth, but it is obvious that they are not welcome in any case. Determined to devote his life to this work after such an event, Ferruccio himself, he vows to produce the sports car on the same level or superior to Ferrari's. Most people find it fanciful and funny at first, but Lamborghini really does. Automobili Lamborghini was officially founded in 1963 in Bolognese, Italy. Later that year, its first car, the Lamborghini 350 GTV, will be at the Turin Motor Show. It was launched just 4 months after meeting with Ferrari. A bull was chosen for the company logo because Lamborghini is a Taurus. At the same time, most Lamborghini vehicles will be named after famous bulls or breeders. For example, the legendary Miura model is named after it, which is grown in Ganadera Miura in the province of Seville in Andalusia. It was a name given to a Spanish fighting bull lineage. This Miura model was already a few years after the first model in 1966 Geneva International Motor. They promote it at the fair and make an unforgettable debut. They show the world the Miura, known as the world's first supercar. At the time, this vehicle offered cutting-edge design, stability, and speed. This vehicle brought Lamborghini considerable fame and attention, and was put on the market by the company. It set a high standard for later vehicles driven. So it's really difficult to produce the next model after a legend like Miura, but Lamborghini has overcome it. The next model, the Lamborghini Countach, attracted at least as much attention as a Miura. Its stylish design has made it a favorite of many people's posters to hang in their bedrooms. The car entered popular culture, becoming a standout image throughout the 1980s. It revealed the company's now iconic upward opening doors. The success of the Countach brought the company to fame and allowed it to compete head-to-head with Ferrari worldwide. But in the world of popular culture among young men, this was no contest. Lamborghini had won all the way. This is my personal opinion as well. Whether in those years or today, I would definitely prefer a Lamborghini. Personally, I'm a car lover, and since I was a kid, Lamborghini has always been my favorite sports car brand. This is the model I would like to have if I found the money one day, Murcielago SV. Anyway, let's not get off topic. Although this model was introduced decades ago, it is produced by Lamborghini. It remains arguably the most iconic vehicle. When people think of Lamborghini, this vehicle usually comes to mind. But the sports car world was constantly evolving. In the late 1980s, Lamborghini rivals launched iconic and cutting-edge cars. It was time to innovate once again. The company later released the Lamborghini Diablo. The vehicle is named after an unusual bullfight that lasted several hours in 1869. It was given to honor a bull that caused his vehicle could reach speeds of 202 miles per hour. This would be the last model Lamborghini experimented with before he passed away in 1993. However, the company failed to maintain its excellence in the 1960s. Many of the vehicles released during this period lacked the company's iconic quality and innovative design. Lamborghini decided to embrace retirement in the early 1970s, just a few years after starting company. He sold his shares and left to spend his days in the vineyard. Then the company changed owners several times. It was first sold to a Swiss company in 1972. The company changed hands several times before being acquired by Chrysler in 1987. Chrysler has launched several successful cars, including the Jarema and Araco. However, this success did not last, and Chrysler sold the company to Indonesian investors in 1993. When the Asian financial crisis broke out in 1998, Volkswagen bought the company for $111 million. The company has launched important cars like the Murcielago, which is also my favorite model, in the hands of Volkswagen. The Murcielago model was also named after a legendary bull, a bull who was stabbed 27 times by his matador and still survived. By the way, I never approve of the bulls being the victims of such a ridiculous game. I hate any sport or entertainment where people harm animals. Anyway, after Lamborghini Murcielago, Gallardo modeled Lamborghini in 2004. It became the best-selling model. It wasn't until 2011 that a car was released that didn't fit the iconic Bizzarini V12 engine. This vehicle was launched under the direction of Stefan Winkelmann, who took over the company presidency in 2005. The first brand-new Lamborghini to be driven was the Aventador. It is one of the most aesthetically pleasing models among Lamborghini models, which reaches a speed of 217 miles per hour. That's how Lamborghini came from a small company unknown over the years. It has become one of the most sought-after luxury car manufacturers. Although the company has changed hands many times, many innovators and CEOs. Although he played a role in shaping Ferruccio Lamborghini's mission, he is committed to his vision, and the legend of the bull was continued. So they managed to preserve the spirit of the Lamborghini. Lamborghini finally passed Ferrari in the eyes of the public in that fateful encounter with Ferrari. It gave Lamborghini a poetic legitimacy. Of course, that doesn't mean Ferrari is bad. Loving one does not require hating the other. But someone who wasn't taken seriously at the time is the world's biggest supersports car. History pages noted how he challenged Ferrari, the manufacturer, and actually achieved what he aimed for. Lamborghini's Story Lamborghini, the man behind the legend, which was released on February 24, 2023. It was also brought to the big screen with the movie. I haven't seen the movie yet, but it doesn't look like a successful movie after the success of the Ford v Ferrari movie, which I also reviewed on my channel. Let's make one too. It's likely to be a movie shot in his head. However, those who want to watch can take a look. Lamborghini is a 60-year-old brand as of today. This brand has had 8 owners so far. And during this time, it has brought many legendary models to the automobile world. I'm Shock Voice. See you in my next video. Take care. Goodbye.